Welcome to Tori With A Story podcast. My name is Tori and here is the story. So welcome on into the first episode of the pod. As I've said, my name is Tori and I'm 22 years old, currently working in the escape room industry. And I kind of wanted a little outlet that I could go to talk about podcasts and talk about my experience, not only as a game master, but being in the industry as an escape room enthusiast. So I've been an enthusiast since I would officially say 2021. So it's been about 4 years, and I've been a game master also since 2021. So I kind of wanted to talk about my startup, the future of this brand. So when I was 18 years old, I had applied to work in an escape room, and that's kind of where it all started. But I did want to kind of talk about the story, how I got started, because it's kind of funny. Bear with me. So back in 2019, we're gonna go back a little. Back in 2019, this is how I knew about escape rooms. My sister and her husband, now husband, were like, hey, do you and my twin wanna go play an escape room? I was like, oh, sure, like, okay. I do all credits to her for introducing me to escape rooms because that's really where it came into fruition, honestly. So we went and we played at Breakout Escape Rooms in Orlando. Now since closed, we played the Ringmaster room. And ask me if I remember this room, and I'm gonna tell you, I remember a fortune cookie, map on the floor, and a clown, and like a claw machine. That's it. And I honestly tried to look up Ringmaster online to see if I can like go play it again, but I didn't see that I had a location anywhere else. So I was like kind of bummed because like, dang, it'd be so cool to like redo that again. I actually got out my Escape Games Global and I was like, okay, I think we had 57 seconds left in that room, which honestly is cutting it close. And I don't know if they added extra time because I wasn't aware that was a thing back then. But yeah, on my Escape Games Global, which, oh no, we had 54 seconds left, which you honestly can go online and look up Escape Games Global. Most escape rooms do use that software, to where it just tracks your games that you've played in companies in or out of the state, maybe even out of the country. I'm not too sure about that, but that's how I saw that this was my first escape room ever. And I also remembered, and I was like, oh my God, wait, this was it. And so I looked it up and yeah, 54 seconds left, cutting it so close. So after that, I was like, oh my God, this is like really cool. Okay, that's it, nothing else. Like nothing had even gone in my mind. Like, let me go play another escape room, this and that. Like, I was like, oh, that was cool. Okay, anyways, I just don't think it was my time to get really into escape rooms because mind you, back in 2019, I was 16, 17 years old. So, I didn't have that money back then to play escape rooms. Like, you know what I mean? So anyways, so then 2 years later, my sister was living in the UCF area and she was like, hey, there's this escape room near me, Escape Ventures, which is one of my favorite venues, I gotta say. The Port Charlotte one is actually my favorite. But she was like, hey, there's this one in UCF area, it's near me, you should go play it with your friends. I'm pretty sure she had played it or she had recommended it to me. I'm not too sure on that one, but she was like, you should go play it with your friends. So I brought me, my sister, my 2 friends, and then my boyfriend, which is crucial for me to say my boyfriend. Brought my boyfriend to this company and we had an absolute blast. And back to Escape Games Global, I looked at it and we escaped in 49 minutes and 15 seconds. I want to say we had 2 clues because I remember the specific point where we had asked for a clue because it was just something so cool that we did that I was like, oh my God, no way, that is crazy cool. And honestly, Escape Ventures is probably what made me be like, oh my God, wait, like escape rooms like are kind of cool. Like I kind of really like this. Like this is amazing. And I do think that it's a little bit more advanced tech-wise and just like escape room-esque than Breakout was. So it really stood out to me a lot more where I was like, wait, I want to play the other ones. So then after that, I started to take my friends and family to escape rooms. Me and my sister specifically were like, okay, let's just save Escape Ventures for us only. And I only play Escape Ventures games with my sisters with they live out of state and out of country right now. So if they announce a new game, I'm like, okay guys, you either gonna come to Orlando to come play it with me or I gotta go play it with someone else. So yeah, but anyway, so I mostly saved it for them. So the boyfriend that I had at the time that came with me to that venue, him and I were having a little bit of communication issues and I was like, hey, you know what would be the best thing to do? And this was my hobby at the time. I was like obsessed with it. I was just getting started with it. I was like, you know what we can do to save us? And he was like, what? I was like, an escape room. So I looked online. Mind you, Morty was not a thing back then. That was not here. So I had to manually go online and look up escape rooms in Orlando. It was like back in the olden days, you had to go do that. Morty was not a thing. So I looked that up, and I looked up Escape Rooms Orlando, and there was this company that popped up and it had a serial killer room. And what better way to rehash our love than to do a serial killer room? I was like, this is perfect. I haven't done this before. And mind you, I'm gonna say now, as an enthusiast and a game master, most likely, if it's like a killer-esque, like serial killer room murder mystery, it's gonna be on the harder scale. Mind you, I was a little naive baby, an escape roomie, like not knowing what this industry was and like the type of like things that they had in it and the ratings or anything like that. So I didn't really know that this was on the harder scale. It was on the harder scale. So I booked it, him and I get there, and I'm like so excited. I'm like, yeah, new company. I walked in, I was like, oh, this is a cool lobby. Never seen this type of lobby before. Like, this is super cool. And the game master came out, and we signed the waivers, we did X, Y, and Z. We get loaded into the room, and the start was not good. I was like, okay, I found like a code on, it's generic, on a clock. I will say, if there's a clock in a room, most likely it's a code. But I remember like I saw a clock on the wall, I was like, oh, maybe that's like something. And I know a lot of escape rooms that do clock puzzles or whatever, so it's not a spoiler, but so I remember that, I opened that up, and then I was like, okay, now what? And we kind of like struggled, and I was like, oh my God, no. And he was kind of on one section, I was in another section, and I would come to him and be like, hey, like we need to communicate. And honestly, that wasn't even really happening. And fast forward, we had to ask for a lot of clues. I was like, this is embarrassing because this is my new hobby. Now I have to ask for a lot of clues, and he thinks I'm stupid. And then also, we did not get to escape. And this is when you never know where you are, who you're with, and how that's gonna affect your future, and to not do what I did. Okay, so we're in the last room. We just got to the lair, the basement, whatever it's called, of a serial killer. Last room, a minute left. My mind you, I'm 18 years old. Let me remind you before I go and embarrass myself. I'm 18 years old. I'm young. I'm new to this. I don't know what's going on, but I'm also very dramatic. Okay, if you don't know me, welcome. I'm very dramatic, like literally, and I was even more dramatic when I was 18 years old. So we're in the last room, and I'm like, you know what? I'm in a serial killer room. Let me end off with a literal bang. So what do? I start screaming. I start screaming in this escape room because I'm crazy. And we're not escaping, and I'm sad about it. And then I'm like, damn, me and my boyfriend didn't get to like connect or communicate really. I'm gonna scream. So what did I do? I screamed, and I go, no. And honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to find the video. I'm trying to find it because there's a video somewhere. I thought I had it in my phone, but I think it was in my old phone, but I lost it. But anyways, there's a video somewhere of me screaming in this room. And I was like, no. I was like, we're gonna die. Like, I was being so dramatic. For those that are new to escape rooms, you are not actually gonna die if you don't escape. But my ego died that day. It died that day. It died in that lair, literally. So anyway, so I'm like, no, we're gonna die, no. I'm like being dramatic as hell. And then timer ends, game master comes in, like, hey guys, did you guys like it? I was like, oh my God, no, I loved it. I loved that. I loved it so much. What was left? And so he showed us like what was left, whatever. And I was like, oh, I really liked that, but it's a bummer that we didn't get to escape. And he was like, you know, this is one of the harder ones. And I was like, of course it is. Of course I booked the hard one, being like new to escape rooms. And then we go outside, and I remember we sat on the couch, and I was like, so like, what do you do for your job? Mind you, at the time I was working at a hotel. I have mad respect for anyone in the hotel industry. It is just personally not for me. And I was thinking of like other jobs to go to or go do, or, you know, to find what I liked, honestly. But I wasn't really finding anything. Nothing was really working out. So I was just staying at the hotel to stay there and have a job, because I was going into college in the spring. And I was like, so like, what do you do for your job? And he was like, you know, you're in a control room and you're watching people play on a screen, and it's based off of the theme and X, Y, and Z. And I remember my face just lighting up and being like, oh my gosh, like that is such a cool job. I love that. Like, I'm in a hotel standing on my feet all day doing nothing, and like he's sitting down, watching a game. It sounds like you're just watching TV because everyone's so different. Like, that is so cool. And I remember me and my ex went to the car and I was like, oh, that is just so cool. Like, I would so work in an escape room. Anyways, like, I just didn't do anything with it. So just like us in that escape room, our love also died that day. And so we broke up a few weeks later, and like every teenager, you need a closure talk or whatever. So at the time I got COVID, I quit the hotel, unemployed, quit the hotel, didn't know what I was doing with my life, and me and the man just broke up. And so we had the closure talk, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I just like don't know where I'm gonna go work. Like, life's not really lifing right now for me. And he was like, why didn't you go work at that escape room? And I was like, what escape room? And he was like, the one that we went to. And I was like, oh, I mean, I guess. He's like, no, like literally when he was telling you about that job, like your face lit up. Like, you should go work at that escape room. Like, just try it, see what happens. And I was like, huh, if I can get one thing from this relationship, it's going to be that. So I was like, you know what? Fine. I'm gonna go apply. So I don't know if it was that day or like the next day. I applied for that escape room, and my parents instilled in me, like, if you're gonna apply to a job, you better write a cover letter. So what did I do? I applied, sent in a resume, and I wrote a little cover letter. And mind you, I get an email being like, we want to interview you. We want you to come in. Now, I wore my little professional attire. I looked cute, also professional at the same time. I was like, I want them to know what they're dealing with, what I'm coming into. You know, I walk through the door. Guess who is the man that is interviewing me? Oh, who? Oh my God, no. The guy that was our game master that I was screaming my head off in the last room. Now, is that a good look? No. Should I be hired regardless of that? Like kinda. You know, give me a chance, hear me out. But he did. He gave me a chance and he heard me out. So he sits me down and he's like, welcome to blah, blah, blah. Like, here's our interview. We started talking. And he was like, hey, by the way, like, the reason why your application stood out from everyone else was because of your cover letter. I said, oh my God, thank you, Lord. Because honestly, if he was going to say that I screamed my mind off in the last room and that's what made me stand out, I would have been embarrassed, but I would have took it. But cover letter, okay, yeah. And you're gonna say, wait, but did he remember that you were the girl that screamed? Yes, he did. He very much did. He very much did remember that I was that girl being a lunatic for no little reason. But yeah, so then we did the interview and I got hired on spot because that's how I roll. I got hired on spot. I was like, oh my God, no way. I was like, this is so fun. I have to tell like my friends and family. And then he was like, I mean, we could kind of start training right now. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, what's that entail? He's like, oh, you just play the escape room. You're telling me I get to play the room for free? You're joking. On the clock? You're joking. Hell yeah. So I got to play the escape room. I played 2 of them for free on the clock. And I was like, I'm loving this. And I remember I posted like a Snapchat because I was 18 at the time. And I was like, guys, like just got hired onto an escape room. I'm already playing one of the rooms for free. Like, I love this job already. Like, it was just so fun and amazing. And it was just the kind of the start of like getting into escape rooms and doing that. So unfortunately, the man who hired me, the manager, was also leaving at the same time. So he kind of hired me not to replace him as a manager, but to replace him like as a body working there. So he left. So then we had to get in some other management, and I was new. Also, like other people getting hired were new on. So it kind of low-key was like new staffing, and I was kind of in the new staffing era, which was kind of cool because we all got to kind of start up together. But then about 9 months later, I just realized that me and the company were not aligning on some morals and values, and I decided that I had to go. And I still wanted to work at escape rooms. That was still my love and passion, but I just didn't know if there was another company out there for me. And I needed a job because, mind you, I was in college at this time. So I needed a job. So I was like, okay, well, let me just go find somewhere that is going to be suitable for me. So I'm looking around online. I'm looking on Indeed. I'm calling stores, everything. No one's taking applications. And I'm like, dang. And I hit them all the slow season. This was like February, March era, like April, it's kind of a little slow. We have spring break, but like, you know, it's going to take a while for them to, you know, train people, hire them on. Like, I don't think they're really hiring spring break, and no one really was. I had interviewed with this one company and they did not hire me because I had already worked in an escape room before and they wanted some fresh blood. Listen, I get it. That's okay. I was like, I'm gonna keep going. That's okay. I shed a thug tear and I moved on. And then, so the company that I work for now, so funny because I called them. I was like, are you guys hiring? Because I played there for my birthday. And I was like, are you guys hiring? And they were like, no, we're not hiring now. But if you send in an email, we'll like review it when we're hiring later. I was like, okay, fine. So I sent one in, didn't hear anything back as much. And then I was like, well, I have to get a job. So besides escape rooms, what's cool? What's poppin'? What would I like? And I choose to be a baker. So I go to Crumble Cookie and now I'm working at Crumble Cookie. So now I'm working at Crumble Cookie. I'm standing on my feet all day. I'm rolling dough. I'm like, this is cool, but not for me. This is not my niche. This isn't what I want to do for the rest of my life, but it's just a job to have. And the hours weren't great. I was working 6 a.m. to like 2 p.m. shifts, and waking up early is just not for me. And like I was in college, so I would be out till 2 a.m., have to wake up at 5, like no sleep, no nothing. Like I was like, I kind of can't do this anymore. I think I need to keep finding things or like looking around. So I was still looking around, and I got an email from no other than the company that I work for now, but I will state which company later. And it was like, we're hiring. And I was like, you're joking me. And this was like in April-ish. I was like, you're joking me. No way. This is crazy. This is cool. I have to apply. I immediately called my sister and I was like, guess who's applying? And I said, this company, I have to do it. I have to do it. I just have to. So I immediately sent in my application and I was like, hell yeah. And I don't recommend doing this, but mind you, I was 18 at the time. I was young. I was naive. I think I was 19 at this time maybe. But anyways, I sent in my resignation to Crumble Cookie. They crumbled without me because honestly, I was hardworking over there. I was still too hardworking for a cookie company, but please sponsor me still. But so yeah, I quit Crumble without even knowing that I was going to get hired there. But I had high hopes. I was like, I have potential. Like I was like, I know what I'm doing. Like they have to hire me, please, please. I was praying to any God that I believed in, honestly. And then I get an email back that's like, hey, we want to interview you via Zoom. And I was like, okay. I hadn't done a Zoom interview before, mind you. And it shows because I go to do the interview and I was like, okay, I'm in my dorm room. Should I do my interview on the floor or on the desk? Oh, I should do it on the floor because I'm most comfortable on the floor and I don't like my desk. So I'm doing my interview on the floor. And I don't know that they know that I'm on the floor, but they told me a little bit later on, like, you know, we knew you were on the floor, right? And I was like, oh, that's embarrassing. I said, no, I didn't. And I'm thinking like, how did they even know I was on the floor? Oh, maybe the outlet behind me sold me out. The borders on the freaking wall caught me. I don't know what it was, but I was like, that's so funny. But I was wearing professional attire, don't get me wrong. And yeah, so I did that interview and they were like, okay, we'll reach out to you if we decide to go further with you because we also have other applicants. I was like, okay, no problem. Please hire me, please. Praying. And I hung it up and I was like, I hope. A few days later, I got an email to come in person for training. And I was like, oh my God, yes. Like this is a good thing. This is a good sign. Hell yes. I'm so excited. Mind you, I've been to this company before. Like I know what this company is. I know what it does. And I played 2 of their rooms. So I'm driving to go there from UCF campus, UCF campus. And I'm driving to, I'll say Kissimmee. I'm driving to Kissimmee from UTF. So it's like 35 minutes highway. Right in front of me, a car crash. You're joking. I'm on the way to my first training day or whatever we call it, and a car crash. I was like, you're joking. Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. They're literally gonna hate me. Wait, but is this a sign? Should I not be doing this? Should I turn around? I don't know what to do. And so I just called the store and I was like, hey, there's a car crash in front of me. I am so sorry. I'm not doing this. I swear I'm on the road. I'm taking a picture of this car crash. But honestly, it was like this car was turning into this car and they hit each other. They were fine. Nothing happened, but it was a jump scare for me because I was like, wait, is this a sign? It wasn't a sign, but it was just, I guess just life telling me to slow down. I don't know. Like slow down. Don't be nervous. Don't be anxious. Like you got it. I feel like that's more what it was other than like the car crash and that happening. So then I eventually get there and I was like 3 to 5 minutes late. I wasn't that late, and the owner goes, oh my gosh, I'm glad you're here. Like, we were just about to start without you. And I told him, like, on the phone, like, you could start without me because, like, this is embarrassing. And I was like, okay, perfect. I'm, like, stumbling and huffing and puffing because I was so scared, so nervous. And I showed them a picture of the car crash. And I was like, oh, by the way, it was real here. And I was like, look at this timestamp. I was like, he was like, what is this 19-year-old girl coming in here causing a fuss about this car crash? But I was like, no, like, I didn't want it to look like I was lying because I was not. I was being so for real about it. And I still am to this day. It happened if they're watching. So anyway, so yeah, so we did the training, and we did I think the first thing he did was like a tour of the building. And then I remember we played 2 rooms. So it was the 2 rooms I had done already. So I was like, wait, okay, I've played this already. So I can't show that I'm like good at escape rooms, which like I was still like a little bit of a newbie baby, but I've done like, I think around that point, it was less than 100 that I'd done because I made my 100 when I was like working there. So I was like, I want to say under maybe 50, maybe like 30, 40, whatever. So I was like, okay, I can't show them that I'm like good at escape rooms, but I can show that I'm willing to learn and willing to listen. So I was right next to the owner the whole entire training because I was like, I can't be in it because I don't want to show that like, oh, I'm spoiling this for the people that are training, but I also want to like be back and like be talking to him to show that I'm engaged and I'm into this. Because I was like, I don't know if they're gonna hire all of us, I don't know if they're gonna hire some of us, but I have to at least show face somehow. So I was doing that, and yeah, we did the training, and I just still thought it was so cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, if I don't get this, I'm literally gonna cry myself to sleep. And I don't know what I'm gonna do after this. Like, if I don't get this, like, I was banking on everything for me to get this. So I was like, I'm in college, I need a job that's fun, but I also can, you know, get a source of income. And, you know, I didn't know that I wanted to do escape rooms forever at this time, but I knew that for now I wanted to do escape rooms. And I obviously was in college, so they knew like all about that. And so then we did training for a few days, I want to say maybe a week or something like that. And then they say, okay, we're going to review and evaluate everyone. And if you get an email, it was like, I don't know the exact thing, but it was like, if you get an email on this day by like 6, then you made it. And I was like, okay. And I think if you didn't make it, I think you got an email, but I'm not too sure. I don't know. So I was like, okay. So that Wednesday came around, and I was like, guys, I was telling my friends, I was like, guys, I'm so nervous. I'm shaking inside. I was like, if I don't get, and like, I was just so banking on like me getting this. And I was like, there's no way, like I have to get it. Like I have to. And so I was just full of like, I was dramatic, of course, but I was just full of anxiety. Like, what if I don't get it? Like, what if they hated me? Like, what if I just made things up? Like, I think they like me. I'm not sure. Like, now I'm gaslighting myself. And so that Wednesday rolls around, and the 6 o'clock time hits, and I'm like refreshing my Gmail. I'm looking through it, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I was like, oh my God. And I immediately call my friend, and I'm like, I didn't get an email. I didn't get it. And she's like, oh, but like, you know, you said they had kids. Like, maybe they're, you know, they're busy, or like, you know, they work for a company. Like, maybe they're just doing something. Like, give them a little while. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like shaking. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God. I was like banking everything on it. And then I said, I'm gonna take a nap. And she goes, wait, but like, what if they email you while you're taking a nap? I was like, I'm gonna take a nap. So either way, I can't take it. I was like, if I don't get it, I'm just gonna sleep forever. And if I do get it, I'll hooray when I wake up. But I can't stand this anxiety. And not that they were causing it. I was doing it on my own because I literally was putting too much pressure on myself to get this job. Newsflash, spoiler alert, I did get the job. But besides the point, so I fall asleep, like dramatically fall asleep. I wake up around 10, and I'm like, I look at the banners on my phone. I'm like, oh my God, nothing. I go in my Gmail, I refresh. You're hired on to Doldricks Escape Room. I literally shed a tear. I was like, no way, I got it. Call my friend. I was like, I got it. She was like, I told you. And everyone in my family was like, I told you would get it. Like, I told you. And I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited. And yeah, so that's how I started working at Doldricks Escape Room. I've been working there for 3 years now. I think they still love me. And no, I love Doldricks Escape Room. I love working there. And truly, I would not be there if I didn't love working at it this long, and I didn't believe in the company and share the same roles and values as the company, etc., etc. So yeah, so with me working at an escape room in Orlando, I am going to be talking about Doldricks sometimes and just saying my stories and my time there and X, Y, and Z. And I will be recommending some rooms that I've like played, like Crazy Train. Like, I love Crazy Trains, Blue Bones. Those are my 2 favorites. So I may talk about some of the rooms there, and none of it's biased. I'm not getting paid. If you're listening via audio, there's no gun to my head, by the way. Like, I am truly saying this on my own and what I think on my own opinion, because I truly do believe in everything in that company, for that company. Like, I absolutely love working there, and working there made me realize and opened my eyes to, like, oh my gosh, I think I want to like work here forever. Like, I think I want to work in this industry for a very long time, and it's because of them. It's because of the environment, the games, the gameplay, the puzzles, the people, that I truly believe that I belong in this industry, and I feel like I belong in this industry, and I want to genuinely be in this industry. So, take that with a grain of salt. Like, I will be, reviewing some of the games. I'll be talking about some of the games. I'll be recommending some of the games, but it's not biased. I'm not getting paid for it, and no one's forcing me to. So just keep that in mind. And with me working at an escape room in Orlando, I do realize that speaking on other companies can come off as bad. I am not going to speak ill of companies. I'm going to be speaking truth about the gameplays, the puzzles, what I like, what I didn't, etc., etc. But I'm not here to tell anyone's tea or tell any company's business. Honestly, I'm truly going to be evaluating the games. So, separate the art from the artist. I'm separating the art from the artist, and if I like the games, I will talk about it. If I wasn't too fond of some things in the room, or I thought that this could be better, X, Y, and Z, I will be talking about it, but I'm doing it from all love and respect for each and every company out there, because at the end of the day, I still do want to play like every escape room in the world. So I never want to come off as rude or off-putting or say anyone's business. That's not my business, and the only business that will be shared is mine and my own opinions. And any personal opinions that I have on if I liked a game or like a company or anything like that is my own. It's not correlated or intertwined with my company that I work for, Doldricks Escape Room. It is all my opinion. So yeah, that's kind of the intro of how I got started in this business and kind of what this podcast is going to be about. It's going to be me sharing my personal stories. It's going to be me talking about escape rooms. It's going to be me reviewing escape rooms, talking about game master POVs, what I do in the daily life of a game master, etc., etc. So definitely follow along. You can follow me on Instagram at TWASPod. Someone took Tori With A Story, so it has to be TWASPod. So TWASPod on Instagram. Definitely go like, follow, share, subscribe to those channels. So I'm super excited, and yeah, thank you to anyone that fully listened to this pod. Thank you so much for joining me, and this is Tori with the Story.